Meditation through attunement. Meditation through attunement has no dangers. There is only one basic form of breathing to be mastered. In all the following exercises, breathing should be deep and regular. Place your hands at the base of the rib cage and imagine that as you breathe, the chest is a concertina and that you are pushing your hands out as you breathe in and allowing them to come together again as you breathe out. This is the only form of relaxed breathing that you require to know. A simple exercise that can be done before starting any meditation, and which is particularly beneficial when there is some form of disturbance, is clearing the auric color. This is quite simple. Start with a negative color, red. Build a curtain of red. Hold it in your mind. Put a light behind the red curtain and allow the light to shine up until the red is absolutely clear. Do the same with blue, the same with yellow. Turn the yellow into gold and hold it as a ray of golden light. Direct the light to the solar plexus. Before deep meditation, there should always be a few moments of concentration. A good exercise is to concentrate upon some natural thing, a leaf, a flower, something of this sort. Not to imagine it, but to have the actual object in front of you and to look at it for a period from 3 to 5 minutes. Try to find something different to see, to translate in the mind with each observation, until you can feel that you are concentrating inward to a center. The basis of this system of meditation is attunement. We call it threefold attunement. It is essential, if you are going to master this system, that you do so not only through the images which are given to you in the exercises, but also through feeling the rhythm, the pulse of the universe. We will use an exercise to illustrate this. Close your eyes. Consciously relax the breathing. Feel your heart beating. Concentrate your mind to your heart and then feel the same pulse at the solar plexus. Center the whole of your being to the solar plexus. Radiate out from the solar plexus through the nerves, through the veins and arteries, to the entire physical being of your body. Feel beyond this physical rhythm the generation and regeneration of the cells of your body. Lose the spatial limitations of your body. Stretch out from it and feel vibrant energy about you. As it changes, gives out energy and gathers energy to it. Reach out through this center of energy and feel the pulse beat of all other life. Hold the life pulse within yourself. Maintain the relaxed breathing. Gently release all tension. You are now ready to create your center for meditation. Build above your head a blue dome of sky. Bring it down about you until you are enclosed in a temple of blue. The light of the sun coming through the blue. Light the temple with golden rays. Find within it absolute peace, absolute quiet. Let me describe the stages of the threefold attunement. We have just made the first attunement. It is to the center of our own personal being, from our physical, sensory being, through into the deeper being of the spirit. From this we radiated outwards to the second stage, to a oneness with all other being. We felt ourselves in the pulse beat of all living things, of all people, of all growing, all life. The third stage of the threefold attunement is to the infinite experience of the universal mind. This attunement should precede all the following exercises. We live like fish in a closed, dense, three-dimensional world. When we can break through to the universal mind, we move into a vast world that is wholly light. From this we draw strength, new energy into our being, and we allow the whole of ourselves to be expressed in an eternal moment of universal being. When we can make this universal attunement, it carries us through into what we call the formless world. We can have no physical experience in this exercise. All that we may bring back from it is a language which is immediately understood in our deeper spiritual being. Through this language, we may move towards the tranquil energy of positive assurance. This does not involve intellectual knowing, but spiritual recognition. The following three exercises are known as the exercises of light. They are first stages in the pattern of attunement. When we have made our threefold meditation, or attempted to do so, or when we need to move into our meditation pattern to discover calmness, to draw energy, to find peace within ourselves, we can use any one of these three exercises. They are phrased in a language of symbols which I will describe at the end of each individual exercise. The imagination may create the images, or the mind follow their rhythm. The first exercise of light is the lake of tranquility. In your mind, make a lake, a very still lake. Behind the lake there are mountains, and they reflect in the water of the lake. Look closely into the still water, and with your mind, ripple the surface and then make it calm. Hold the picture of the still, calm lake, mountains, the blue of the sky reflected, and let the light of the sun come over the mountains and turn the water into gold and blue, but very still. Stretch out your hand and feel the water. Feel its physical sensation. Where the sun is bright, at the center of the lake, coming from its surface, there is a ladder. Watch the ladder go up, 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 until it is lost in the blue of the sky. Now move across the surface of the water until you reach the ladder. Climb it. Climb through the blue into the golden light. Let the light pour into you, and slowly, very slowly, return. You may have found when you reached the top of the ladder, if you got to the top, that you got a picture of something, in fact a symbol. If this should happen, hold this symbol in your mind. Keep it for the earlier stages of the next meditation. Then start with the symbol and allow it to change. In this way you will gather a series of constant symbols. These I will refer to later. The lake in this exercise was the symbol of peace. The mountains symbolized grandeur and tranquility. The light of the sun was the light of life. Its energy was spiritual regeneration. When you reached your hand out and touched the water, this was the most vital part of the exercise, because in this moment you projected yourself into the exercise. It was transformed from a mental image into spiritual reality. In climbing the ladder, you are freeing the spirit into light and allowing that light to enter into yourself. This was the third stage of the threefold attunement, the sense of universal mind. The second exercise of light is the tree of life. Allow your breathing to be easy. Become very relaxed. Build in your mind a tree. Let it take the first form that comes to mind. Build it up, and when it's solidly in front of you, move up to it and put your arms about it. Hold it, and then move inside the tree. Reach your arms out into the branches and let yourself go up through the tree, reaching out along each branch, right up through the tree until you reach the very top. Now you are the whole of the tree. Allow yourself to see from the top of the tree a forest of trees about you. The blue of the sky, the light of the sun. Feel the sun through your leaves, through your branches, through the forest. Become the whole of the forest. Feel yourself diffuse through the whole forest of trees, right upward to the top of the forest, and right down into its very roots. Feel the life being drawn into you as that forest through the roots of all the trees and through the light of the sun on all the leaves. Let this power of life run into you. Now, gradually draw back through the forest, back to the top of your tree. Go back into that tree, slowly down through the branches of the tree until you reach the roots. Step out through the tree and gently let the exercise drop from you. Hold the breathing for just a moment and become very relaxed. When you became part of the tree, it was the symbol of your life. As you stepped into the tree, you were at the first stage of the threefold attunement. You felt the oneness of your own being through the single tree. You felt the oneness of all being as you moved out into all the other trees and drew through you from the roots and from the sky life. And this was the second stage of the attunement. Again, the sun, the golden light, was the symbol of life, and as you drew this through you, you completed the threefold attunement. The third exercise of light is the river of life. This is the most difficult exercise of light. Build in your mind a river, not a fast-moving river, but very gently moving. Moving so slowly that water lilies have been able to grow on its surface. You are sitting on the bank of the river, looking at the water lilies. Touch the water with your hand. Hold it in your mind. A blue dragonfly hovers above one of the water lilies and lands upon it. The dragonfly is very blue. Stretch out your hand towards the dragonfly. Allow yourself to become the dragonfly. The wings are moving. As they vibrate, you feel the vibration in your inner being. You are resting lightly upon the leaf of the water lily, and it starts to move with the river. It moves on down the river. The river becomes faster. You are moving with it, and you move into a pool where the leaf starts to go round and round. The sun strikes the pool, and you are drawn down with the leaf. down into the golden light of the pool. Now the river is all about you. You are the river. Feel yourself flowing with the river. Hold it in your mind until you hear the sea. Let yourself flow into that sea. The sea is golden with the light of the sun, and you are part of it. Slowly, slowly come up through the surface of the sea until you are warm with the light of the sun. Move back across the sea to the shore. Stand by the side of the sea and look over it. Step back from it, back into your own body, into the chair where you're sitting, and very slowly relax out of the exercise. The river of life was a more complicated symbol of the movement of life. First, as the individual, as the dragonfly, you moved onto the surface of that water. At first you were carried along on the leaf of the lily, which was your own single being, until you became a part of the river. At that point you were at one with all being, the whole of the river of life. When you reached the sea, this was the experience of the universal mind, the sea of eternity. You then moved directly as yourself from this and stood back from it. This particular exercise is frequently productive of symbols. Through going into the center of our own being, into all other being, and then into the universal being, we move ourselves away from the center of our disturbances. We allow the patterns of our lives to take their natural course, and so we convert the destructive energies into positive energies. Because this is the most important of this series of exercises, it should always be done only when it is possible to finish it. It is not dangerous not to complete this last exercise, but to misuse it is to break down the symbolism so that we cannot use it at a time when we might need it more. As I have said, any one of these three exercises might produce symbols. They are based upon a language of symbols that I have described to you. There is a far more complicated language of symbols that are within ourselves. This brings us to the second series of exercises. The second series of exercises are called exercises of revelation through power within. In these exercises, we are moving into ourselves. They are centered on the first and second stages of the threefold attunement. They are particularly valuable in helping us to make decisions clearly, in helping us to overcome moods of violence and destruction. Most important of all, in helping us to know ourselves, not intellectually, but in the inner language of spirit. The first exercise is the center of the rose. Build in your mind the door of a garden, a wall and a wooden door in this wall. Step through the door into a garden. Smell the scent of the roses growing in that garden. You are in a garden full of roses. They are all different colors, every conceivable color. Walk among the rose trees, breathing easily and relaxedly the scent of the roses. Select one rose for yourself, a rose that is not fully opened. See the color of the rose, a rose that has a closed bud. Without plucking it, take this rose and let it rest in the palm of your hand. Slowly, one by one, unfold the petals of the rose and look into its center. If you find something in the center of the rose, remove it, and then close the petals of the rose, slowly. Raise the rose to your forehead, to the center of your forehead, and let the rose enter into your mind. Come back through the rose bushes, smell the scent, move through the wooden door, stand back from the wall, dissolve it, and easily relax out of the picture. The rose is a symbol of love, but the color of the rose that you chose is important. You will have chosen the color by your feeling at that moment. Through the shades of red to white to yellow, yellow the philosophical color, white the color of peace, red the color of love. The symbol that you find in the rose is the symbol of your own inner being at this moment. You took the rose and allowed it to become one with your mind in total identification with the exercise that you did. In breathing the scent of the roses, you were breathing the energy of love into your being. Remember the symbols which emerge from this exercise. The second exercise is the 3 caskets. Become very, very relaxed. Make the surface of a peaceful lake. The sun is reflected in its surface. Touch the water with your hand, and as soon as you feel it, move across the lake until you reach the center of the light of the sun. When you reach this point, float, and then slowly sink through the surface of the lake until you are going down, 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 still holding the light of the sun until you reach the bottom of the lake. There you will find 3 caskets. Open each of the caskets in turn. Take nothing from them and look into each one. You may now select one thing from one of the 3 caskets. Just one of the things that you find there. Take it, hold it, float up through the surface of the water into the light. Look at the symbol that you selected from your casket. Hold it into the light and see if it changes. When it has become steady and settled, hold it again to your head until it dissolves into you. Feel the light of the sun on you. Move back across the lake. Dissolve your lake and relax. The point of this exercise was in the selection. The basic symbolism we have already had. The lake is peace, the light is the energy of life. As you moved down through the surface of the lake, you moved into your own inner being. You opened the 3 caskets to give yourself choice. You must try to translate the reason for your selection of the symbol. Say to yourself for each thing that you found, what does this mean? With what do I associate this? And try to find the significance of the symbol that you chose. If it is an unselfish symbol, then use it for meditation. If it is a negative symbol and only selfish, then take this symbol into meditation and dissolve it. The significance of this is obvious. The third exercise is called the doors of inner knowing. Build in your mind a castle. Move towards the castle. Enter it. you will find a very long corridor. Look along the corridor. On both sides there are doors. Walk along it, open one of the doors. Move into the room. Look about you. Remember everything that you see in the room. On the wall of that room there is a curtain, and behind the curtain is a picture. Stand in front of the curtain. Wait until you feel absolutely ready, and then draw back the curtain. Look at the picture. Hold it in your mind. Move out of the room, into the corridor. Don't open any other door. Move back along the corridor, out of the castle. Stand back and look at it. Let it dissolve. You made a castle to symbolize the parts of your being that are walled in. The corridor was decision. Any one of those doors could have been opened, but you had to choose. What you saw in the room will usually symbolize an area of your life that you are seeking to clarify. In drawing back the curtain, you will frequently find there the answer to a problem you are trying to solve within you, an answer that has already been spiritually resolved, but which you still have to bring to the surface. Again, the important significance of this exercise is choice. You chose your own door, and only when you were ready did you draw back the curtain. From these 3 exercises, you will have gathered a series of symbols. When I say I want you to meditate upon them, I mean that in the attunement at the beginning of your meditation exercises, I want you to take the symbols that seem to apply to you most and hold them and see if they change. With regular meditation over a period of time, you will find that there are a series of symbols that belong to you personally. You will recognize in your inner being their meaning to you. By holding them, you will evoke the response of that symbol in your inner being. Thus, the purpose in this language of symbols is to find a means of not praying by repetition, but of prayer in the sense that you are seeking a spiritual language within yourself, through your mind consciousness, through your spiritual consciousness, into the universal consciousness, and thus replenishing your being. I want to stress the importance in this set of exercises of taking back the symbol. Never translate the symbol on its own. Always take it back into that exercise on another attunement and find whether the symbol changes. This is the free development of the constant symbols, and this will lead you into a further stage of meditation. We spoke of the lake as peace. As you calm this lake, so you calm your inner mind. Thus you take these symbols and place them beneath the surface of this lake in an inner meditation, and look at them through the lens of peace, and allow them to unfold. This is an inner meditation. You may also take these symbols and build the light of the sun. Bring it to the solar plexus and lay the symbol there in that light. This is an outward meditation. So you will find that your symbols may change in the inner meditation and again in the outward meditation. This leads to free meditation by using the exercises that we have gone through to bring you the symbols that may be freely used. I repeat, through the lens of inner peace, through the surface of your lake for inner meditation, through the power of light for outward meditation. When these symbols, having been projected in these 2 ways, become consistent, then you can move, if you wish, into more complicated forms of meditation. One of these is the conversion of symbols into movement. This is more difficult. If you remember at the beginning, I said to you that by concentrating our being into our heart, feeling our pulse, feeling the pulse beat of our being in our solar plexus, out into the universal rhythm, and feeling ourselves as a pulse beat of the rhythm of universal life, we allowed energy to come into ourselves. We can do the same thing with these symbols. We may convert a symbol by deep meditation upon it for a period of 10 or 15 minutes into movement. We can then draw that movement into our own inner movement and become at one with the symbol. The pattern of movement into movement is a system of meditation which may lead us to formless being. The formless world is seldom reached. It is not reached through the basic exercises which I have given you. It is reached through the conversion of these exercises into the pulse beat of life. As we break through into the formless world, which we can only occasionally do, so it becomes possible for us to move to another level. This brings us to the two cardinal laws of meditation. These are asking and giving. Before you commence any meditation, ask in yourself that this may lead you to the true center of your own being. At the end of your meditation exercises, there comes the law of giving. For many, Christian prayer teaches that you repeat a series of words to God as if God were an individual sitting there listening to you and receiving volumes of requests. Meditation presents no philosophy other than inner knowing. It helps us to resolve questions within ourselves. It is part of universal law that we should seek harmony, happiness, joy, and its expression. In the language of meditation, joy becomes prayer, not in the Christian sense of prayer, but in the meditational sense of diffusing energy within the universal mind. You are a part of God. You are a part of the universal law. You are part of the mental creative forces of the universe. Thus, in the expression of positive joy and positive happiness and tranquility, you are adding to the power of the universal mind. I have made it, in my own case, a rule in my meditations to always finish with a projection of giving. I do it in this manner. I express thankfulness by seeking to envisage the things of life, of creation, which give me the most joy. I build their image and hold them in my mind as an expression of thankfulness. When I have done this, I also try to extend this to other being. And so I finish each pattern of meditation, for it is a continuous series of patterns, a kaleidoscope that you shake with each evocation and bring forward a fresh pattern of the universal rhythm. At the end of each meditation pattern, I try to hold the image of some person that I know to be sick, to be in need, or some person that I love, and try to hold this sense of joy in the universal mind, radiating it towards this person, and thus giving, at the end of each exercise, a part of that exercise to some other person. In this way, we build a purposeful pattern of meditation. By this universal giving, we use the power of prayer in its deepest sense, and our meditations multiply towards a world of peace, a world of joy. Love, meditate, be healthy, be happy.